Like once again, I promised you, I'm back, and I've got some informative news on C. diff that you might not know. When you're tested positive, when you go into a hospital, you are tagged, you are marked in every hospital around the US pretty much. So don't worry about it. You're not the only one. Hey, I was tagged. Other than that, there is a lot to know about C. diff. And there is one new one that is worse than C. diff, by the way. But a little bit more on C. diff. C. diff is an enzyme that attacks any foreign organism. Okay, my background is medical. And when doctors could not answer and told me it was anxiety because I was dropping weight rapidly, having severe diarrhea, gonna say it, defecation, and or vomiting or emitting, it became part of my life. That's all my life became. And I literally begged God to die because I thought, I don't want to live this way. I'm an active woman. I am young. I am not dead yet. And here my body was turning into a skeleton. I was doing modeling at the time. I was working with companies. And all of a sudden my life shut down. My husband, newly married, a year married, just because it was a misdiagnosed kidney stone. If you have any form of abdominal surgery, afterward you should be tested for C. diff. And most hospitals around the US don't. In inner cities, they do now. And they are very strict policy. They will kick you out if you have C. diff because they don't want patients like us in there. That's the truth. When I get down to it and I look at the emotional state I was in, I went through severe depression. I still go through it. I hide it very well. I'm a bit of a workaholic, but I had to turn things to a positive manner in my life. I had already been through cancer. I had already been through so much in my life. And when this happened, it all occurred so rapidly, I thought, my life's over. And I had already died in the hospital 14 times. I signed my own DNR, sent my husband home, and signed it by myself because I knew he couldn't handle it. And I didn't want to keep being revived. My body revived itself. And yes, I've died 22 times in my life. I'm just a normal woman that's trying to be somebody to give a positive light on it. And afterward, some of you have only had it a month or just a couple of days. Trust me, the ones that are repeat people, it is life. Now I have a failed kidney. My heart is failing. I've had seizures. And you know what? I'm still going. That's why I decided to go on down the avenues in the paths I did. Because each one of us is a representative of C. diff that people want to keep quiet because we're so ashamed of what we have to deal with in life. We're so ashamed that we have to run to the bathroom literally every 5 seconds. That we feel like we're so sick that we're going to explode from the inside out. But the reality of C. diff is it makes you a stronger person. And if you survive it, if you get through that portion, you're going to have to find out the intolerances you have in your life that are either food, liquid you're drinking, maybe even a mineral. Now I'm allergic to potassium. I'm allergic to gluten. But that's life for me. So I live on a very meager diet. My best friends truly are lemons and vinegar. That's how I get through things. But you know what? Everybody says, oh, you're beautiful, you're skinny, you're modeling, you're working, you're sitting there working with all these companies. You sit there and you catered and you do all this stuff. It's not a pride party. It's because it's the only way I know how to keep going in a positive light. So when you're in the bathroom, sitting there defecating yourself to death and you cannot think of anything else but your pain, you need to change your focus. You need to identify, instead of feeling depressed and ashamed of who you are, you need to find that portion in you. Take an online course, for heaven's sakes. Do something with your life. Look up things on your phone. If you're in pain, do something about it. Don't have the pity party like I've had. I understand C. diff, and I understand how much your body is ravaged. I can't even do bikini modeling unless I gain 10 pounds. I went from 198 down to 113 right now, and each day I'm dropping pounds and I have to fight. And yet I'm choreographing dances, I'm doing runway fashion shows because I can't sleep. I'm in so much pain. I've turned pain into energy, and that's what you need to be doing for yourselves. I know it's difficult. I know the pain you feel. Turn it around. Turn around the depression. Turn around the disgust you feel in yourself. When I look in the mirror, I don't recognize my body anymore. I recognize nothing in me. When I look at my muscles, it looks like I'm some butch, muscular woman. I'm just a normal woman. Everybody thinks it's beautiful. They don't understand. I live on barely 200 calories a day and water. That is not normal. It is not healthy. Now you that have survived it, you understand. The spouses that have gone through it, I have the most wonderful husband in the world, and I feel very blessed that I do have him, because he pushed me out of retirement while I was sick to go out there and seek out what is it I want in life, because I'm on a path that nobody wants to go. I'm the tail end of C. diff. It messes up your intestines. What it does, that enzyme fights and it never goes back. If you don't have gut flora, meaning fiber, in your diet, such as probiotics, that can create that balance in your life, you're going to really hurt. You need something to push out. And when it comes to the green slime mode, yes, I'll call it the green slime mode. Okay, it's not green slime. This is your bile, because you have no fiber in your diet. You don't have proteins. Switch your diet. Find out the intolerances. And by the way, I would suggest, because you hurt so bad, especially in the evenings, you literally need to figure out what it is you are intolerant to. Because after C. diff, there's a healing mode that goes on with people that didn't let it go too far. I had doctors that let it go too far. And I want people to understand this. I had a pathologist stay 3 nights in the hospital wondering what happened to me, what causes, why did the hospital not give my records that I was in formerly. I'm not going to name that hospital because still thinking about dealing with them. But I literally had the worst experience there is for C. diff. And I recommend that if you feel sick, if you feel that pain and you're being proactive, even watching this video, you're being proactive, you're seeking out help. You need help physically, and maybe not from a doctor. Pathologist sat there, came into my room, he's like, I'm stuck. They sent your record what you are right now. You came in. I was in an intensive care, heart care unit, okay? I was literally death row. I still am, but hey, I'm living life. So I tell you right now, I had a pathologist kick out all the doctors and literally look me in the eye and say, I'm sorry. It's not gonna be a good life for you. You're not gonna be without pain the rest of your life. But you know what? You got a life. I'm not going to recommend what he said because, anything. But he was truthful with me. And I will forever respect that pathologist, not the doctors. I went in and the doctors called it anxiety. I dropped so much weight. They couldn't figure it out. And I said, I'm in pain. I don't know what to do. Every part of me is just dying and I can't live life. I'm the mother of a beautiful, 17-year-old, 18-year-old. I said, I can't go now. And yet, they couldn't do anything. Now doctors, you know what they tell me? I'm sorry. Because anybody with C. diff from now on, I do not recommend. And here it goes, what the pathologist told me. Don't think about taking anything that's man-made, okay? That means all those nice antibiotics. They're not real, they're not organic. You're gonna hurt your body. Your enzymes are gonna fight you. When you drink milk, and look at potassium even. Potassium is added in milk and it's artificial. So no artificial medications anymore for you. It could trigger C. diff again. But if it's just it's usually because you've had abdominal surgery, you've had a cervical check, or some type of physical check from a doctor. And usually it comes from the hospitals because they are unclean. And they don't know how to deal with C. diff yet fully. They give you 2 medications, Flagyl, vancomycin. Seen them all, been there, done it. Even the fecal transplants. Honestly, you let it go too long, you're gonna hurt or you're gonna die. Those are the options. Don't always trust medications that are artificial because your body is going to reject it. I tell you, look into it, study it. And by the way, there's a new one, worse than C. diff out there, people. Don't be blind. But I want to hear your comments. I want to see you commenting more, because we don't need to be silent anymore. We're the victims usually of hospital, how should I say, not being clean. It's not clean, people. Look underneath the stretchers. Foreigners here. Look underneath the stretchers, start looking at the floors, realize there's fecal matter all around you. And fecal matter, bile, any type of bile, bodily fluid, if it's even touched with your hand, guess what? You got it. That's part of life. So don't think you're a victim only. And don't look at yourself like you're disgusting. I have felt so disgusting. I don't recognize my own face anymore. I don't recognize my body anymore. I don't feel comfortable with my spouse for the most part. And I'm being very truthfully honest, because now it is time for people to start acting. My husband is wonderful. He understands. And all he says when I'm 3 hours in the bathroom, 4 hours in the bathroom, he goes, "Can you come to bed?" Guess what? We're all polka dots. We may be different shapes and different sizes, but we're all polka dots. It's called the polka dot syndrome. And that's why now I'm going to be starting a place called the Polka Dot Place. Because now I'm going into a field that I want to be the advocate for life, for living. I've survived 22 times, and now it's time to start helping people live their lives. And I'd like to see people with C. diff be proactive. Start stating it. What's wrong? It's a disease, just like anything else. It's like cancer. I've had cancer. It's like cancer. It's something that is difficult, that is disgusting. It's nasty. It's nobody wants to even relate to it. But you're the advocate out there. You're the one going through it. You've seen your spouse go through it. You've seen your child go through it. You've seen your family members go through it. It's part of human existence. Don't feel disgusted with yourself. Instead, be proactive. Start realizing all the things that help with C. diff. There is information out there. I suggest you look. Thank you, and I look forward to talking to you soon.